Welcome back to the Sethington channel. Today I got a banger for you guys, okay? Absolute just banging video. This is marking the beginning of a new series. Technically the second part of a series just because I'm keeping the same naming scheme as another video that I made. But this is going to be the series where I paint a magic card for every set. Got kind of a long road ahead, which is just going to be filled with fun and not me regretting my decision to make this a series. So without further ado, let's talk about Alpha. It's more than just nostalgic. It's a portal into a time when fantasy art was raw, personal, and experimental. Today we're diving into the visual soul of Alpha and why its strange, beautiful art still resonates decades later, as well as painting an Alpha card and learning a little bit about what makes it so unique. Alpha's art wasn't consistent, and that's part of what makes it magic. Wizards of the Coast recruited a mix of fantasy artists, illustrators, and even comic book contributors, many of whom had never worked on card games before. The result? A chaotic mix of medium styles and moods. You had deeply rendered oil paintings next to stark pen and ink drawings, and some cards looked like they belonged in a gallery. It wasn't polished, it was fearless. These artists weren't trying to conform to a style guide. They were building a new fantasy visual language on the fly. Alpha's art often prioritized vibe over anatomical accuracy or technical polish. The proportions are sometimes weird, the backgrounds abstract or downright strange, but the mood is undeniable. Terror feels like a scream in the dark. Plague Rats crawls with dread, and Sengir Vampire practically glows with menace. This vibe is what makes all the cards feel like spells in a spellbook, rather than super clean creature rookie cards or homogenized generic blue spell number 5000. I think we see a similar phenomenon with Pokemon. Bro, did I really say Pokemon? What is a Pokemon? I love the original sets. The art still has that raw feeling like early Magic, and in a way they're both kind of moving towards hyper-saturated, flashy pieces of cardboard all the time. Not to say some modern cards don't still get it right in both games, but there's a lot of unity in art styles for better or for worse. Let's compare Alpha to modern MTG sets. Now, modern MTG art can be gorgeous, cinematic, and highly refined, but some fans still crave for Alpha's raw energy, the feeling that anything was possible and each card was someone's unfiltered imagination. That messy creativity gave Alpha its soul. It didn't really look like D&D, Tolkien, or Warhammer. It looked like Magic. Where old Magic's strength is in its art and feel, modern sets make up for their lack of edginess with mechanical depth when at its best. I hope someday we can see both come back in unison. We are definitely seeing glimpses here and there with some sets. So whether you play old school, collect vintage, or just admire fantasy cards, Alpha reminds us of what happens when you give artists a blank canvas and no rules. But today, I have this Alpha card that, I found in my dad's old collection. I don't know what it's worth, but I'm going to paint it anyway. It looks like it's old and probably worth nothing. All jokes aside, Christopher Rush gave us Black Lotus, maybe the most iconic piece of card art ever made. I'm obviously painting a fake, as I can't afford even the cheapest Black Lotus, so don't worry. But don't worry, it's not being sold or anything. I just wanted an excuse to talk about this card. Black Lotus is simple, surreal, and unforgettable. It's important artistically, not just because it's iconic, but because it perfectly captures the essence of Alpha's strange, evocative visual identity and chaotic nature, being a card that the developers never thought would be so powerful. Here's why it stands out from an art perspective. Rush used a palette that feels both natural and otherworldly. Deep purples, electric blues, and soft yellows that pop even on an old, slightly faded cardboard. The flower looks like it could be real, but also like it belongs in a dream. That surreal color scheme evokes rarity, and the composition drives that point home even further, with the Black Lotus being the only one of its kind in the massive field-like background. It conveys the feeling of magic without needing to show a wizard or a battlefield. This seemingly unassuming but deadly flower embodies power, rebirth, and mystery. It symbolizes the ability to transcend limitations and emerge from darkness, often associated with creation and enlightenment, says Trusted Gift Reviews. In the game, it grants immediate power by providing 3 mana, an advantage that can be used to cast powerful spells in the early game. For these reasons, I decided to keep my altar very minimalistic, honoring the original card and only extending the borders. The only major addition being the skull in the foreground, corroded and overgrown. I'm trying to push those themes of rebirth and danger into the composition. Dude! New green screen! Green screen cutting mat. Green screen cutting mat. Isn't that sick? I could put whatever I want on here. What a great idea. Gotta admit, kind of stole that idea from Pay Money Love Me, but whatever. Yeah, so I just, if a little bit of backstory behind this is actually a sticker. It's a sticker that I put on an island, and the sticker was really glossy, so I had to buy this matte primer, clear primer, so I could paint on top of it. I just started doing it like I would a normal altar. Pretty much just working from the background. I made a video on how I paint altars and just about altars in general. If you want to watch that, that was my first video I actually made. You know what? Don't watch it. It sucks. Yeah, I actually just found a photo reference online of a skull, but I actually painted it freehand. I got a couple comments saying, "Oh, why'd you trace your guy?" Gonna be quite honest with you, it's way easier. That's why. Little tidbit about that is, you can barely even see the sketch once it's transferred on. It's just really a loose guide to help you with your landmarks. Anyways, who even cares, bro? Yeah, so anyways, I freehanded the skull. Pretty proud of that. Pretty dope. And, yeah, there's a little jawbone there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like getting covered by the grass a little bit, just to add a little bit more visual interest. And there it is. I hope you like my big black Lotus. My Black Lotus. My blacker Lotus. I'm definitely gonna be making more of these in the future. Hopefully making it a series. It's gonna take me probably a million years if I want to do every set, but could you imagine the pile of cards I would have that are all painted with a video for each of them? It'd be so cool. Or like I make a big display out of them. So let me know your thoughts. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you don't mind. I keep forgetting to say that in my videos. Honestly, I could care less. But anyways, leave a comment, you know, what should I do next? What should my next card be for beta? I mean, it's basically the same set. Should I skip over beta? Should I talk a little bit about beta and paint a Mox Ruby? You know what? Someone send me a Mox Ruby and then I'll make a beta video. Okay, someone send me a beta Mox Ruby and then I won't paint it and I'll resell it. Okay? Alright, love you.